Okay, folks, this is a wee discussion to recap on network system security, assignment 1, task 1. And I'd ask you to create a Word document describing how networks can be attacked. So we know networks are computers and other devices connected together, whether that be the college network, maybe a small network in your home, a network on an office, etc. But we have to describe how can these networks be attacked. All right. Now, there's numerous different types of attacks. There's the denial of service, backdoor, spoofing, mathematical, brute force, software exploitation, viruses, rootkits, worms, trojans, spyware, and adware. And you'll recognize some of them. You would have heard some of them keywords before. All right. But what we have here is this document I've sent called attacks. And this is describing to you the types of attacks. So rootkits. They attack the OS, the operating system, normally by replacing essential executables. That's the little icon, you double click on the screen. That's an executable because when you click something, it executes an action. They hide viruses and malware in plain sight by pretending to be necessary files, which antivirus software will ignore. You have your denial of service. This is when a large number of people send messages to a single server over a sustained period. Remember, that single server is holding a website, or could be the the heart of a network, causing it to crash. So it's bombarding it with requests that it can't handle. It then prevents valid users from accessing the services of that organization. You have spoofing. This is an application that pretends to be something else, normally to gain access to a device. The two main types are IP spoofing, so it looks like the data came from a trusted host, and DNS spoofing. DNS means domain name server, sends users to an alternative website which they didn't request by tricking the server into thinking it was a legitimate site. So when you go to www.amazon.com, all right, that DNS, that's what Amazon's DN is domain name. So the DNS server sends users to an alternative website. So you think you're going to Amazon, but you're going to a different website. Backdoor is an opening left by a programmer to gain access to software for troubleshooting or other reasons. Attackers will then use these backdoors or create their own to gain access without the need for a password or get administrator privileges. The backdoor may have been created earlier. So when programmers are creating a program, they usually leave a backdoor which they can then go into. All right, what happens is hackers can create their own backdoors if they're very, very good at their hacking job. And if the backdoor is there, well, then hackers go in through the backdoor. There's a brute force attack, which is kind of a bit like the denial of service. The software will constantly guess a user's password until it obtains the correct entry. This can continue for quite a lengthy period of time without the user knowing. The password will then be used to gain access to the device. So brute force is the hacker constantly is guessing random passwords to get into your account. All right, and this is usually done automatically using a small bit of program that they would write. They've your Trojans, so this is an application that tends to be innocent, but once it's downloaded or activated, it then is secretly a virus. All right, so somebody sends you a document saying, here, look at my work, and you open it and it's actually a virus. And once you double click it and open it, then it's got access to your computer. Spyware is software that records what the user does on the device and is attached to. The data it records depends on its purpose, e.g., usernames and passwords, sites visit. It can be used for criminal purposes or for direct marketing. So you ever see spyware might be in your computer that you're like, oh my goodness, why am I being advertised to look at, treadmills all the time? Because the spyware is picked up, or you were looking at treadmills one time, so it's bombarding you. Then so it does. Adware, this software is usually used to advertise a product within an application you're using, normally within a banner from the web. It is normally part of free software that has been downloaded. Not much harm, but can be very annoying. So adware is like, games, and you download on your phone and you play it for a bit, and then it stops, and then there's an ad. You have to wait for the wee X to come up after so many seconds. That's adware. All right, it's more annoying than anything. Not really doesn't really do much harm. A worm is a self-replicating program uses the network to duplicate its code to other devices in network. This can be transported from another device without a human intervention, while others need the user to move them on. So a worm is like a virus that comes in and it replicates itself. It makes copies of itself so that one goes to nearly every computer on the network. A virus, well, we all know what a virus is. It's a malicious piece of software. It's designed to destroy a computer, cause damage, and then move on to the next. Man in the middle, maybe you never tell this, software is placed on a network between the server and the user. So you have the server and all the users. A man in the middle is a bit of software in the middle. It then intercepts the request sent by the user to the server and forwards it on as normal. The server then responds to the software instead of the user, and this process continues to carry out an attack if that is what is desired, if that's what is planted there for. And the modification, this software enables the attacker to modify, delete, or insert data onto the device. This attack is hard to identify and is normally used to alter credit card details or plant data. Defacing a website is also an example of this attack. Alright, they're the different types of attacks. You've probably heard of most of them already. Alright, but what do you have to do with these? Well, for P1, you have to describe these attacks. And if you can, put in an example. Alright, what are these types of attacks? These types of attacks then, they can come from one of two places. And this is where this comes in, the sources. So, they can come from an internal source or an external source. The internal source might be a disaffected staff member, and I'll discuss that now in a wee moment. Or the external via the internet, via unsecured wireless access point, or viruses and emails. And this PowerPoint, this is the sources of attacks. Sources, a network is always under threat from attack, and it can be internal or external. An organization puts security in place, but people will find a way. Alright, and you see it even in the college. You're getting emails all the time. Everybody finds a way somehow. So the four main ways is disaffected staff, virus via email, an unsecured WAP, which is a wireless access point, which is, you connect your wireless device to connect to the network, or the internet connection. Disaffected staff, keep your friends close and your enemies closer. Not all staff are trustworthy and some may have a grudge. This is an internal threat. If a member of staff is really angry or annoyed at the organization, they may plant an attack on purpose. Alright? Also, it can be staff, but by a complete and utter accident. A staff that has no common sense and opens up a virus email or takes a USB pen home to their unsecured computer. When they plug it in to do a bit of work, the virus then gets into the USB and they bring it in and plug the USB into the computer and that way it gets in. So the staff can do it in one of two ways, by a complete and utter accident or on purpose. Alright? What attacks would they be likely to carry out? And I want you to put that and see where we're talking about the disaffected staff by accident or on purpose. Out of them list of attacks, which ones do you think they would carry out or they could carry out? Your internet is an essential tool in all businesses, but it's also a major source of attack. The vast majority of attacks come from here, so this is where you get your most connected to the internet. Firewall and antivirus software should be set up, but as we know, there does be a way it gets in. You shouldn't download from unfamiliar sources. And that's why they always say if you want to download something, go to the main person that creates it or sells it. Don't get a dodgy version. Plus two, you haven't won £1,000,000. If you get these emails, you've won £1,000,000. Click here to claim. Or there's a big Saudi prince over in Saudi Arabia that wants to give you £1,000,000, but you have to send him £5,000 just as banking fees. It's too good to be true. So your internet connection is the biggest way how an attack gets into an organization and gets into the network. A virus via an email. Email is the main communication in any organization. It is also a very easy way to launch and spread an attack. So you need to scan any attachments before you open any and only open attachments from people that you know. If an email comes in saying, "Hi there, I haven't seen you in so many years, can you open this and print it for me and leave it in the shop?" Don't open it. And don't click on unfamiliar links that they contain. Now, these virus emails are becoming very sophisticated, looking like they're coming from a tax office or HMRC or your DVLA, and they're looking and even Amazon, they're looking very real now. So you have to have a very good eye to spot them, and you should always just double think everything. And an unsecured WAP, the unsecured wireless access point. A wireless connection will always have less secure than a wired one. During the initial connection to a WAP via wireless NIC, which is the network interface card, no security can be in place. Some people will never set up security. Just put in the WAP, the wireless access point, and say, you know what, that'll do rightly. They can connect to the internet and the network from here. It needs to be secure. These evil network open to snooping, bandwidth stealing, or piggybacking and attacks. Security security protocols should be set up such as WEP, WEP. And I need you to go and research, put that in that wee bit. Alright, so that's P1, network system security. Create a document describing how networks can be attacked. These are the attacks, but this is the main bit they want, is the sources. Remember, how networks can be attacked. Alright, so that's what I need you to do now. I'm putting it in a Word document. This bit should be good, big, chunky bits. Alright, now obviously I've given you the notes, but you need to do extra along with that to show your understanding and show that wee bit more development, that you're not just using what I give you. That way then I'll be getting 16 bits to work the exact same. I've given you 30% of it, you build up the other 70. Good luck.